Welcome to the latest edition of the LFC Delaware Podcast. We are joined today by Amy Kate from Carlsbad Official Liverpool Supporters Club. And we're going to talk about her experiences of being a Reds fan and some of the very interesting things that she's been up to even during the lockdown in her to follow her passion of supporting Liverpool. Also, we have the usual suspects. We've got Sean, Charlie, and Tim. Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
What's that? As usual, we have a couple of announcements. So, Tim, you want to fire off with the first one?
Yeah, first one is spoiler alert that next Sunday, 1 week from today, is Mother's Day. So friends from our home bar, Catherine Rooney's, are continuing to do their curbside pickup. And so they have a whole menu. You can either find it on our webpage or we can probably post a link in the comments on this. So they're going to have takeout Mother's Day meals, special menu, either brunch or dinner, kind of like an all-inclusive thing for one price. So you can get off the hook easy and go buy mom or your wife some Mother's Day meal from Catherine Rooney's and a takeout cocktail with it, and you'll be good to go.
Sounds like a plan.
And fathers, keep in mind that kids aren't at school to make Mother's Day gifts. So it's on you guys. Oh. Make sure you don't ruin that one.
Walgreens photo book. I recommend it.
Anyone else we want to get sponsoring us? I never heard back from Hatscarf or a badge, by the way. Just saying, in case they pick up on this. The other thing we wanted to just mention was on May 17th, the LFC Foundation is got a virtual 5K, which you can sign up for. And again, as Tim said, the link will be, we'll put the link out there on the Facebook page. I think it's like £25 to sign up, but essentially you can walk, you can run, but it's in honor of the 96, and it's LFC Foundation have sort of scaled down what they were going to do on this day, but the virtual run and walk is still happening. Okay.
I would like to point out that when you sign up, you get a t-shirt, which they'll send to you, and make sure in your options, there's two options. You can get a red t-shirt or another color t-shirt from that other team across the park. So make sure you get a red t-shirt, not a blue one.
Which reminds me, and you also want to sign up for Team LFC Space Delaware. So unless you're from Carlsbad, in which case,
That's right.
Now, what's the deal there? What's the deal there? Am I allowed to run on the spot? Because that's going to be a lot of laps in my living room, and I don't have a treadmill. What are my options?
Just sign up. Just sign up.
Just walk around the block. Good.
So
I'm allowed outside?
Yeah.
I better run
around your house.
Past the wife.
So we're going to get started. Amy Kate, tell us a little bit about how you became a Liverpool supporter, where it all began.
Okay, well, as an American girl, you play soccer, football. And for me, it goes back to when I was 4 years old. My mom put my brother into AYSO, and I got sitting on the sidelines crying because I wanted to be there too. I was obsessed, and like any mature 4-year-old, you cry and patiently or not so patiently wait till it's your turn. And I'm 5 and I'm like, my turn. And I've been obsessed with the sport ever since. And growing up watching, the World Cup and 91 when the first Women's World Cup, that was probably one of the most exciting things until 98. I had discovered on cable that the sport was actually in English, and I found the English premiere, and everything else was history. I was watching everything and anything I could. And I like to think that Liverpool found me. I saw Stevie G for the first time. I thought, wow, this kid, he's got something, I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of Michael Owen these days, but what he did for the club was amazing. I just felt drawn to the club and never looked back. And the other little thing I think that kind of sold it for me is I'm a huge Beatles fan, and they're, the Beatles are from Liverpool. So I was like, yep, this is my team, and never looked back. And I didn't want a team that everybody else was supporting. I wanted to find my own team, and everything else is history, 22 plus years later.
Nice.
You could have been a real help to some of these boys at the quiz the other night, actually. So you watch the games in Carlsbad? How does that usually happen?
So usually, our home plate, it's not a pub, it's a little Mexican cantina called Senor Grubby's, and it's in the heart of the village of Carlsbad. The owner is a huge advocate of community and bringing people together, and very similar to what Liverpool's all about. It's about the people, and there's a lot of people around in that area. And a lot of them play because this area where Carlsbad area is predominantly families, and there's a lot of kids that play the sport. And so we just saw that there was a need for putting a group up there. And so that's kind of how it all started. And so we watched it at Senor Grubby's. We've decided that we're going to take over the back room, and they've had no problem, and they'll open up for us for every game. We just have to let them know, because there's times that the games are on the West Coast are really, really early. Mm-hmm. But they've been so supportive of us, and it's been our home since 2016. So we're really pleased.
Watch live?
Huh?
You watch live? So if it's
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we watch all the games live. And
even the 4:30 one, so you get up 4:00 and go to the 4:30 start. Like if there's sometimes occasionally we'll have like a 7:30 start, right?
Right. Here. Well, so we did in the beginning. We were watching them at 4:30, but there wasn't a huge group. Yeah. So to be fair to the owners, because they would have, we decided not to do the 4:30s until more people want to do it. And I have another smaller group in San Diego at the Shakespeare Pub, where I go and meet up with them, or sometimes we do it at people's houses, just depending on that. So, but I'm always watching every single game, no matter where it is, even sneaking it on my iPad at work. You didn't hear that. Just kidding.
We had a lot of views, just be careful.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Word spreads fast.
Right.
Yeah, it's cool to hear that, like it started with gathering more than anything, because I think that's like kind of one of the themes that we're finding out, like the more people we talk to from around the world, is that like the Liverpool family concept is something that's like so fundamental to like all the supporters clubs. Like it's not just, there's a team and so we figure we'll get together and watch it. It's that we like being together and then we figure we'll watch a game while we're there. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I've personally, before starting Carlsbad, I had been with a bunch of different people that were fans. There were several different places in San Diego that we had gone and done stuff long before, there were supporters groups. I remember I want to say it was like 2009 or 10. We were just meeting up at like a local place. There was an Irish pub the field that we used to watch at. And it was a small group of us. There was only maybe like 10 or 12 of us. And we would, go watch there or somebody's house, especially the 4:30s. We'd have people hosting at their house. And it was just a matter of getting us all together to watch. And if we were playing a different team occasionally, like if we played Arsenal, we had a couple friends who were Arsenal that would show up, or, it was just a way to watch the game. And then we did look into seeing if there was an official Liverpool Supporters Clubs, or how to do that. Because I had gone to New York and I came back and I was like, we should try and do this. But this is before Jane had come on and before they had this is, long before 2012. So they had one per state, and it wasn't something that we could really do. So we kind of dropped it. And then of course, when the club was bought by Fenway, everything kind of slowly changed into what we have now. And now they're really, really, the last 3, 4, 5 years, they've been really trying to build globally, which is amazing to see how many groups have become official and worldwide. We are now 306 official Liverpool Supporters Clubs. We're in 99 countries, and there's 58 just in the United States. So 6 in Canada and 3 in the Caribbean. So that's pretty spectacular in just a short period of time.
It is.
Caribbean ones crack me up.
Yeah.
My wife is like her family origins are Puerto Rico, and so we were talking about going to Puerto Rico for a trip. And so of course I had to look up and see if they had a supporters club, and they do. So
They do.
no, we're gonna go watch a match there.
That's great. So how many other supporters clubs have you visited along the way?
You know, I don't really know. More of connecting with supporters through preseason or being in Liverpool. I haven't been to a whole lot of the support. I've been to Phoenix, all the ones in Southern California. Let's see. I've been to Orlando. I've been to Indy. Actually, before Indy was before I even knew that was where Indy was, at the Union Jack, because I was at the 2014. I was at the Indy 500, and so of course I had to go there, and that's when I thought, oh, Liverpool, so that was kind of cool. Few others, but most of the connections I've made is through trips to Liverpool and connecting with fans, through social media or preseason tours, because I've done the last 3 preseason tours that we've had. So that's really where I've met a lot of people.
Were you in New York for the last series?
I was, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, a couple of us were there.
Cool. There were so many people.
Actually, no, not the last one. Prior one.
In Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I was too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. We actually had we have a photo of from LFC TV of Jason McAteer, and he's lined up, and our banner, our LFC Delaware banner, is right behind him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kind of neat. Yeah.
I kept hanging it over the edge, even though they told us not to.
That's right. They wouldn't let us hang the banner over the edge. Oh,
I went to the Indy one once. I'd forgotten about that. I was on a work trip like 2013, and I popped in there for a game once.
Yeah, it's a cool little bar.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you obviously spend a bit of time in Liverpool. Tell us about your most recent trips.
My most recent trip was the Bournemouth match. I was there for the last 2 matches before shutdown.
Okay.
2 years ago, or this 2018 actually. We did. I'm sorry, 2019. I was involved helping with Liver Girls on the committee. I helped represent the U.S. and North America. There's an incredible woman named Ragnhild. She started the Norwegian supporters group. She lives in Liverpool. She's one of the founders of Hotel Teal, as well as founder of Liver Girls. This is all because of her and her vision. And I remember meeting her in 2015. We were talking about that. And I thought, I want to do something like this in the United States. And, kind of kept in touch with her. I've seen her over the years. And she asked me to be on the committee. So I said, absolutely, want to help support what you're doing, because this wouldn't have happened without her. So 2019, we were launching Liver Girls International on International Women's Day, and I was there for that, and that was incredible. And then 1 year later we're back, and it was bigger and better than I could even expect, and that's why I picked the Bournemouth game. And there was a few of us. We had 6 of us from Carlsbad, and we connected with Murfreesboro. One of my really close friends, JD, started that, and we decided we wanted to go at the same time, so we were all together in the COP watching the match. That was pretty spectacular. A little nervous when the first goal goes in. We're like, okay, what's happening? This shouldn't be happening, and then you look back, you're like, we've got this. Second half comes on, and you're just like, they were definitely they controlled the whole second half, and we end up winning and 25 points ahead. We're sitting pretty, and then shortly after that is COVID-19 kind of goes off. I was actually also at the Champions League match. That was my first Champions League match. I've never been able to see them live, but
the Madrid game, the Atletico game.
Yeah, I was there. It was kind of surreal because the talk of COVID-19 was there, but obviously we still had the game and everything, and I'm not convinced we should have really played there, to be honest. I mean, I'm glad I got to have the experience, but I think that wasn't the right decision, but not our decision. So yeah, I was there for that, and to kind of promote KOPCON and visit friends and you know, just cheer on Liverpool, really. And I love the city, and I have a lot of friends there, and I just love going to Liverpool. It's a home away from home for me. So yeah. And a year ago, or just almost a year ago, my mom passed away, and so I have a stone at Anfield, like many people do. So I wanted to take some of her ashes to my stone so that we'd be together forever. So that was kind of my little special thing I wanted to do. So I got to do that as well. So it was a different but fun trip. I had to come home early because of it. But at least I got to experience it, so that was good.
Yeah. We have a couple of people who were planning, we had tickets allocated for the Chelsea game.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they'll ever get to see the Chelsea game. So. Yeah.
Sure. Anyway.
Cool. So tell us some more about Cop Connect, because I've heard a little bit about it, but I'm not sure how widely. We haven't shared a lot about it with our community. So
KOPCON is our supporters. It's a supporters convention for supporters by supporters. I have an incredible partnership with a few people. Mark Kenny, he's in Liverpool. He's a musician, phenomenal musician. He handles all our music. Danny Greenwood, he's from Lancashire, lives in Edmonton. Alex Malone, who is from Liverpool, he writes for This Is Anfield, and he just relocated to Victoria, to Vancouver Island, but he was living in Southern California, and myself, and we all got together. We all kind of had the same ideas and goals and connected, and I had talked with each one of them kind of individually about doing some sort of fan convention thing, because there wasn't anything, and Celtic had been doing this for 25 years. If they can do it, we can do it. Mm-hmm. So after having the same kind of conversation with each one of them individually, Danny was the last one to reach out to me and said, he wanted to put this together. And I said, I've had this conversation with several other people. And so Danny and I decided, let's connect everybody. And that's how KOPCON was formed. And last year, it happened to fall on Champions League weekend. And the reason we did that was because we contacted Celtic because we wanted to know, how are you doing this? You've been successful for, 25 years. At their peak, they had 6,000 people.
Wow.
They started off with like 100, 150. So they were really, really generous with their time and information, and said, hey, look, if you guys want to do this, why don't you back onto ours? Come before ours, which happened to be Champions League weekend. And we thought, well, let's do this. So that's how the date got set. And we started promoting it and talking with all our friends and sharing it, and working really hard. And we did it in 5 months, which is kind of unheard of, because usually it takes about a year to plan all these things.
Yeah.
Got Carlsbad on board, and Liverpool Gin and a few other people, and we reached out to everybody we knew and kind of helped pass the word. We ended up having about 200 people over the weekend, and then Champions League weekend there was over 700 people in the pub. We connected with now official Las Vegas supporters group. They weren't official yet. The owner at McMillan's, Brian, was like, yes, use our pub. Come, we want to connect with you. We want to partner with you. They were so helpful, so open. The group over there, Roddy and Stacy, can thank them enough for their help. And KOPCON was born, and we had our first KOPCON. We had the second one planned for June 18th through the 21st, but with COVID, everything's postponed. So we're not sure yet when we're going to do it. It will happen. We are definitely not giving up on this, and we've sold a bunch of tickets, and everybody's been very supportive, saying that, just let us know when. So we're just waiting to make sure that's the right time, because doesn't mean we're going to. We want to make sure that it's safe for our for everybody to come. You know, we have former players. Last year it was David Johnson, Roy Evans, and Howard Gale that had come, and this year it was slated for Bruce Grobbelaar, Roy Evans again, and Howard Gale again, and then we ended up having David Fairclough, super sub, joining us as well. So we'll see how that pans out. We kind of have to just play it by ear because, you know, the world is really different right now and nobody knows what's going to happen, but we're still kind of plugging away. And what we've decided to do is kind of join with everybody else with the Zoom calls and the different things. And we started Cop Connects, which is like KOPCON Connects kind of thing. It was, you know, that was Alex's clever way, and I really thought it was cool. And so we had everybody come on last Sunday, and we're going to do it every 2 weeks. We have a mystery player, so he's behind the camera, and you ask them questions, yes, no questions, and then once you figure out who the mystery player is, you get to do a Q&A with them, and then Mark Kenny will perform and a few songs, and then in the end we're all on Zoom with everybody holding their scarves up singing "You Never Walk Alone" with Mark. So that's kind of what we've been doing to keep everybody connected through all of this. And a bunch of us have gotten together. One of our guests from KOPCON, Allison Gavin, she's in Cleveland, and her and her sister were at KOPCON and they missed connecting with people. So she said, hey, let's start a Zoom and anybody want to come, and didn't really think that anybody'd really come. And it's been every week for now, I think 7 weeks, that we all come on to her Zoom. And we've got anywhere from, 20, 30 people coming on and off. We've been record breaking from starting at 2:00 in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time. Last night we got off at midnight. So we're literally on for hours. Our whole entire Saturday is just chatting with fans. We've had people from Sydney, from Indonesia, from Madrid, from all over United States and Canada, Liverpool, Scotland, Belfast. I mean, name it, it's all over the world. And it's just fans coming together and uniting. So that's been kind of a really fun thing we've been doing on lockdown to keep people together, because some people are alone and we all miss football.
So the things you've talked about here, if people want to know more about those, if they're listening, like you said, the Liver Girls project, KOPCON Connect, these Zoom calls, where would they find those?
So Liver Girls, there is a Liverpool page. This is just for women. It's to bring women together, to empower them to feel safe and secure and unite together to share their passion and their love for the club, because there's so many women out there that, in this sport's, male dominant, which is nothing wrong with that, but some of them don't feel as comfortable. And this is a kind of a forum to hear your voice and be with other women. And there's a Facebook page, and it's Liver Girls International, and that's held by Ragenheld. And then the annual Liver Girls event is over International Women's Weekend each year. And like I said, this was our second one. Then KOPCON, we have the KOPCON page on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And it's KOPCON events. And then that each week we'll put out, or when every 2 weeks for KOPCON, we put out the information on the Facebook page. You have to join the Facebook group in order to, and we'll let any red. The big thing we wanted to everybody to know is, if you're a Liverpool fan, it's all inclusive. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are. If you want to be a part of this, you're welcome. If you're red, then you're part of this. And that's the big thing, is being inclusive to everybody and anybody that's a red. We want you to be a part and feel comfortable to be a part of KOPCON. And that's the big thing, is unity and community. So, and sharing our passion together. And that's kind of where the love of this all started. So if you follow our join our group. There's information on the page. We have a Facebook page, and we also have the group. You join the group, and then the information's in there, because we don't want just anybody to jump on, because we want everybody to stay together and that are supporters of Liverpool. We don't want people that are not Liverpool fans joining it. But yeah, that's how you can get a hold of us that way, or contact me.
To join, don't let him in. He's a member of our group.
Had experiences during.
No, joking. No, if you're listening, Tucker, I don't mean it. So
that's great to know, because I've seen stuff on social media. I do the social media for our club, and I've seen stuff about KOPCON, and I was like, I don't know what that is, but you've done a great sell job. I'm ready to buy a ticket whenever you schedule it. So here we go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
I'd seen it. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know you there was any more than the event. So it's kind of interesting to know that there's a Facebook group and all that.
Yes, we've put a Facebook group together where everybody can, connect with each other, especially right now. All the information about what's going on. We partnered up with the Westgate Hotel in Las Vegas. Right now, KOPCON is in Las Vegas, and it'll continue to be the home of KOPCON. We are considering down the road at some point to have other KOPCONs in other cities or other countries, but that's the down the pipe dream. So all the information is there. There's also the Twitter and the Instagram. But the main information, because you can put so much more information and respond back on the Facebook group and page. So that's where we talk about who's coming, the mystery guests, or if we're going to have any kind of events. We did a mini KOPCON in January to promote it in Vegas, and that was really successful. I mean, there must have been like 50, 60 people that had showed up to do that. Mark came and performed, and we had the whole team there to just kind of get everybody excited in Vegas. We did a last summer. We did an event with Mark in Edmonton and in Calgary to kind of get the Canadians involved. So that was during summer tour, because we weren't 100% sure if the rumors were true that they were going to flip-flop it and make it go odd years instead of even years, because it was always 12, 14, 16, 18. We weren't really sure they were going to do 19, and they did. So I only was at the New York one, and we all ended up being there together supporting KOPCON. Redman TV joined us with KOPCON, and have already told us that once we get back up, they'll and know when they're going to be our guests. Ragnhild is actually the host of the main event, which is the Champions Night with the players, and we have a bunch of different musicians and a Beatles night and a big pool party. So a meet and greet with the players. And what's really cool about KOPCON that no other group is, not only is it a 3.5-day event, is it's not just showing up, listening to them speak, maybe take a picture and off you go. They're with you, drinking, hanging out, celebrating, chatting with you. They're just one of us, and you have access to them. We do have a meet and greet set up for formal pictures and stuff, because people want signs, so you don't have to carry all your stuff with you and say, can you sign this, can you sign this? But they're accessible the whole time, and they're there with us, and at the pool party and at the pub night and everything. And then we also are going to do a Liver Girls event for just the women while we're there as well. They did a happy hour last year for the girls, so they could kind of meet, and just the whole point is just to get everybody together and celebrate the club that we love.
Yeah, it's great.
That was cool.
We missed out here. We were all ready to do the NBC
yes,
yeah,
Premier League live weekend, and about I guess 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks before that was the lockdown. So that was a real shame. I mean, such an amazing season on the day of the City game, which really would have almost certainly clinched it if it hadn't already been clinched. And we were so looking forward to that. I feel kind of fortunate that I was at the United game on January 19, which was a real landmark game. When Salah scored, the Kop singing "We're gonna win the league," which almost felt like the moment where, okay, this is, if the Kop is singing it, then it's as good as done, because they're a superstitious lot and they've seen a lot of leads slip away at this point of the season. So that was pretty magical to be a part of. But I was so looking forward to that, that Premier League live weekend in Philly, and we all had our tickets. And of course, it was very unlikely I was going to be able to twist my wife's arm into letting me be back in Liverpool for the parade. So this was kind of going to be my my parade, but not to be. They're keeping us, stringing us along. It can never be easy as a Liverpool supporter. If it's not a world war or a meteor, it's gonna be a plague.
Yeah, I hadn't bought tickets yet, but I had planned to go, and my friend was actually driving up from North Carolina. We were gonna go together, and then it got canceled. So
they do say they're coming back. They do say they're supposed to come back in the fall.
Yeah, and I think they will. And we've waited 30 years for this, so we can wait a few more months. Yeah. I personally don't think that they're gonna, some of the other leagues have said, okay, we're just kind of shutting it down. Mm-hmm. I don't personally believe that that's going to happen, because there's too much money with Sky. On our Liverpool OLFC chat, the very first one we had, Peter Moore was on with us, and he said that wasn't going to happen. I know things change, and he is on the boards of some of those things, and it's in the best interest of the Premier League, with so much money being involved, that it continues. It's just when it does, is it going to happen behind closed doors? Honestly, I don't care how it does, just finish it.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to believe that they would completely void
the three leagues that have called it, the Belgian, the Dutch, and the French leagues, and I understand that the television money is a lot different structured to the massive amounts that the Premier League would lose out. So it's in their interest to, even if they have to bump the next season, they need to finish this season.
And I think that they probably will do that. And you're right, it is about the money and people kind of worrying. I mean, let's be honest, none of us, well, as far as I know, none of us have any insight on this. It's just more of our opinion. But I just don't think that it would make sense it makes sense to finish this league and postpone, for the next one, because there's so much money and so much time. And of course, personally, we take it, more to heart, because this means so much. We're 25 points clear, 2 games, and we've got it. And we're making history here. So, and then of course, with the 30 years of waiting, it means more to us than some of the others. But there's relegation money and promotion money that matter. It's not just about the Premier League. It's all the leagues that follow underneath of that as well. So it's more complicated.
The only evidence we do have is that 2 of those 3 leagues that have called it have awarded the title to the team that was in first place. And the only league that didn't, there was a tie for first place. So I think even if they did not decide to not finish, they'll still award us the title. I mean, I feel confident about that.
They will, but I don't want it that way, because
I know. Yeah, I know. I don't believe it.
It's, well, you didn't really win it. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Well, people are going to say that no matter what now.
Beggars can't be choosers, okay? So we just take it however we get it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What I always say is like, well, we're going to win it the next year too, so don't worry. Nobody's even close to us right now. So that's the way I feel.
Well, on the positive side, all this, 6 Champions League, this will be good for at least another season. So
right?
It would be such a shame to only get 1 year's worth out of that.
Yeah, So the other thing I say is so they're going to, hopefully they'll award us the title, and then we'll have both the Champions League and the league title for the next year.
and the World Cup and the Super Cup. So.
Yep, this one right here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So we're running out of time. I cover a couple of different things before we go. I mean, I think we could have a much longer conversation about whether the league's going to end. I think I looked at the Guardian this morning, and they had 3 opinion pieces. One of which said the league should think hard before they resume. The other one saying the league should resume as soon as possible. So I think they've got to fill column inches, and I think that's a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, they want to keep people interested.
The other thing that we can't possibly miss, though, is the most popular post on our Facebook page this week was about the rumors about the Nike shirt. And I want us to be as succinct as we can about this. But the opinions did seem to range from who put that color on my team shirt to I want one of those shirts right away.
So Tim, I want Tim to start here because Tim, I think, has the strongest opinion about this.
Okay, Tim, go for it.
It's funny because I decided to wear this shirt today just because I bought it because it says Adam Lallana on the back. But this is a horrible shirt, and yet I wear it. Like if you look at this, it's got this weird like circles and geometric shape stuff kind of like sublimated onto it, and a horrible collar that's not even a collar. Things like that. One of the things that Paul said on the topic, where I don't know who started it, but it was like
you did actually. You were
all of these terrible
I think you thought of this
shirt,
thing, right?
It's just saying like all the people who hate it are probably still going to buy it.
That's true.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that happened this year. I had mentioned that the shirt that Sean and Charlie are wearing, when I saw that come out after last season's shirt with a nice collar, I thought, what a piece of rubbish that thing is. But you have to have a red shirt. It's something like I've not been a fan for long, but that's something I'm learning is you can have all of the other shirts if you want. But when you're going to take that club photo at the end of the match, you kind of want to have a red shirt on. So that's a big part of it for me. So the fact that the new shirt is red may eventually win me over. I'm just not a fan of like all the nonsense that they've put into it just for the sake of putting it into it. Like the biggest thing that bothers me is the way that the collar like crosses over on the front and the back.
I don't like that either.
I don't understand it. It's just kind of like it feels like you're watching like a runway show and someone went, oh, well, this will be controversial. Let's do this.
It noted that none of these things are official yet, by the way.
Yeah.
But,
right. It's true. The more
like you say, Tim, every time you're presented with a new one after the last one has finally grown on you and, oh, wow, I really like this current one. And then you see that, oh, wow, but this and that and the other thing, I just can't wait to see it in the flesh. And having Nike distributing this is going to be fantastic because here, every single jersey I've bought has been from the official Anfield shop. Nowhere else do I go, but it's been sight unseen. I mean, I see photos of it, but I can't see a real close-up of the texture and how it fits me and how it sits there, how it suits everything. And I don't know, personally, I was a little bit on the fence about the teal. And by the way, this is where that color comes from. This is not Nike inventing colors to put on our shirt. This is a legitimate color.
Similar to the 90s. There were a couple, I think Paul pointed out. There are a couple kits in the 90s that are very similar. Yeah. I don't love it, but I don't hate it as much as Tim either. So
I'm looking forward to it. And hey, that color is funky, but hey, I like to see it, and it's certainly a little different. I don't mind that at all. But honestly, the more people express their ire over this new kit, the more I want one to wear it in front of them so they can say it's actually a pretty good kit.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. I think that they did a decent job. I think you're right. We need to see it in person because what pictures do and what you see in person are totally two different things. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. My favorite current one is the 125th. They nailed that to me. And I was like, to me, that was my favorite kit of all time. But when they brought out last year's, I thought, how are they going to beat this? It was different, but I really did like it a lot. This year, I was like, well, and I love the fact that they brought the deep red back. And that to me was what did it because these orange reds and other reds and funky reds were just not doing it for me. So I think that they've done a really good job, and I'm actually sad that New Balance isn't going to be because I think they put such a heart and soul and understand what Liverpool, they understand the club now. But I also understand that and appreciate the fact that for whatever reason, their distribution was just under par and very disappointing and limited. So Nike coming in and being able to do that's great. But my concern with Nike, and they have said they're not going to do the cookie cutter, but my concern with Nike is not only is it going to look like everybody else's, which they're saying that it's not going to, and if these mock-ups are true, they aren't. It's the money, because they're so much more expensive. They're, the U.S., we wear it for the United States teams, and it's like $165 for a replica shirt with the name and number on it, and compared to like say 110, 120, depending, that's $50-$60 is a big chunk of change to have to buy. Everything with Nike is so much more expensive, and that's a concern, and I don't like that. But as far as what they've done and the mock-ups I've seen, and I've seen pictures with tags, so it's a good chance that these latest ones are the real kits. It's okay. I think it might grow on me. I get the teal. I don't like the cross on the back, like you said. I'm like, I prefer like the embroidery, or the I don't know what it's called, but the it's like risen up, like when it's not just an iron on kind of plastic,
right. Like
liver bird.
Like it is on Sean's shirts, right? And Charlie's.
Yeah. Like I love that.
The new one, I pointed that out, and Charlie yelled at me because he said it's not an official shirt. But the new one,
I think that's the way they make
it did look like a plastic, like stick-on thing.
Well, the players' shirts are like that, but the replicas that they sell to fans are typically embroidered. I'd be very surprised if we saw the
players' ones are heat pressed on because it's supposedly less weight than all of this thread that is making me lean forward.
Well, it's supposed to be that, and the other thing is if they're not wearing one of the compression shirts underneath, the chafing and of the embroidery. I didn't really think about that until I was having a conversation with somebody, and I went, I didn't think about that, because especially if the women are wearing it, we're wearing a sports bra, but a lot of the guys do wear the compression shirts underneath. I mean, England's cold most of the time, so most of them are wearing something underneath, even if it's a short sleeve, they're still wearing a vest or anything, but that could be part of it.
Certainly this season, with all the celebrating we've been doing, I found a lot of chafing with the new shirt.
All the biting your teeth in a one-goal game.
It's only fitting that all this stuff happened, because I've mentioned a few times, it's almost been like hard to get as excited as we should have been getting this season, because we were just winning so easily for so long. It you just started to expect it every week, So they had to throw a wrench in.
I'm going to wrap up the Nike conversation. I think one of the things actually that would have helped them is to go back to a shirt that we played in when we were very successful.
Yeah.
The throwback shirt is not from a particularly successful.
No. I agree. It's the 90s. It should have been. They should have chose something that was, we were winning, and that's the golden years, or the happy days.
Or, hey, take the other side of that coin. Now the kit we'll be wearing next year, when we will be successful again, all of a sudden that'll have successful connotations rather than mid-90s.
That's true. And, just a real quick thing that I thought about that I'm sure you guys have probably thought about too, with this whole COVID-19 thing, and the postponement of everything, when do we switch over to the Nike? Because usually May 31st, June 1st, when everything kicks off, or around that, usually the last game of the season, the players wear the new the kit for the following year. So where's that transition of, it normally wouldn't matter because it's from New Balance, but now it's New Balance to Nike. So when does New Balance end and Nike start? That's going to be interesting. When do they decide? Because it's going to be so much farther into when it normally would. Are they going to come back in the new kits, or are they going to continue to play? I'm curious to see how that plays out.
I think we'd seen a story, because I think we touched on this, that the contract ends June 30th, but Nike will think it's a bad public relations thing to try and have the team not finish the season in New Balance.
Have them not do it, or have them do it?
Yeah. They'll allow New Balance to continue as long as the season's.
I think that that's a really cool thing. I think that that's the right way, and that's good that Nike's spoken that, like, you know, being able to do that. I think that's good.
Well, the question is, will Nike allow New Balance to release a, you know, Premier League champions New Balance kit, or at the point where the season's over, will they say that's it, now it's us? And, you know, New Balance could be hurting because they don't have that extra month or two to sell a whole bunch of these kits for the newly crowned Premier League champions. So that'll be interesting too.
I never thought about that. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it is. We're way over time as usual. How about we'll circle round? One thing this week, Liverpool related, that caught your attention, and I'll kick it off with. Apparently, we have been top of the table for 260 days now, and we only need to be top for 10 more days to break the record for.
Oh wow!
Is that right?
Top of the league, yes. So amongst the many other anniversaries in May, that will be a nice kind of marker.
So while we lose the opportunity at a bunch of titles during COVID, we gain the opportunity to
stretch it out.
There's a silver lining.
Yeah, well, so somebody mentioned, because Tim, you mentioned a while ago that, you know, it's disappointing to think like we won't be able to celebrate in the stadium, you know, or whatever. And somebody mentioned in the comment that, hey, look, whenever we are allowed back in the stadium, we're going to celebrate. So, you know, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Anyone got any other gems before we wind it up?
Well, we were talking about today was the anniversary of Luis Garcia's ghost goal was today, the anniversary. So that was kind of cool.
Everybody looked that one up.
Yeah.
And look up Jose Mourinho's comments.
Right. If you don't know anything else, look at Jose Mourinho's reaction. That's, you know, it's priceless.
I like the thing that went around social media. I think it was just yesterday that Sky Sports published a story about, will the team move on from Mo Salah? And on their Twitter account, Mo Salah responded to it with just 3 of the crying, laughing faces.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And the article has since been removed by Sky Sports. So.
Oh, that's good to know.
The best way to shut down an article is the player it's about laughing at it in public.
That's brilliant.
All these nonsensical stories about Salah and Mane. It's like, you know, it's just so.
Yeah.
It's like they have nothing better to do but try and come up. I mean, players have left, you know, no surprise, but why are we focusing on that? You know?
Yeah.
Or why is the media focusing?
Sell papers and get clicks.
Yeah.
That's right.
Speaking of media, it was put out yesterday and then on Instagram today, on Twitter yesterday, Instagram today, the bunch of OLFCs got together and filmed Stay Home, Stay Safe, You Never Walk Alone. And there's a compilation of all the different supporters groups in there. Carlsbad was in it. Tampa. You guys were in it as well, right?
Oh, I didn't know it was out there. Oh, my goodness. This is breaking.
Yeah, it's
stellar.
From all over the world, New South Wales, Oman, Madrid. I mean, you name it. There's so many different supporters groups, and it's montages of people saying, stay home, stay safe, or we're together in a certain city, or You'll Never Walk Alone. Carlsbad's, I did it for Carlsbad, and ours made it in there. I saw a bunch of others in there, and it was just really cool to see all the supporters groups coming together, you know, bonding together once again in this interesting time.
Yeah. We definitely need to rush up and look at that now, because Charlie and Tim and myself were involved in our attempt at recording something.
Attempt, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, it was.
Did you get Alex? Who else did it? Was Alex?
Yeah. And Lee. It was
Talia, right?
Coordinated.
Did Lee get in it?
Oh, Talia did it. Talia. Yeah, I think Talia will probably be on it. I doubt any of us will be. But anyway, we'll take a look.
You'll have to take a look. I know that they'll be doing more with all the film, because there's so much footage that people submitted.
Yeah.
So there's probably going to be more stuff, but the first one came out this week,
Thanks.
this couple days ago.
Great to see.
Yeah, that's cool.
More reposts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Content.
So we are. I think we're out of time. We talked about newspapers having nothing better to do. So given we'll probably have nothing better to do, we'll be back next week with another edition. I haven't yet finalised our guest, but thank you so much, Amy Kay, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. Yeah. What's our message?
So many links that will be posted in our comments as well.
Yes. So stay safe. Look for the comments and.
There's the cat attached.
Charlie.
There's the attached to tail, yeah. Second one we've seen today.